Hi everyone, my name is Yeung Chan. I'm a furniture maker. I went to college Redwood, learned from a master, James Kenoff, in 1997, and I studied 1 year. In 2002, I finished a book called The Classic Joint with Power Tools. So today, I am going to show you one of the very common and beautiful joint. It's called Mitre corner mortise and tenon joint here. Now, there's no end grain showing. It's a mitre. When the two rail, same size, this is 45 degree. And when you open it up, you see this is the mitre and tenon. On this part, it's mitre and mortise. So the tenon go into the mortise. And there are two kinds of this joint. One is exposed the tenon. One is blind tenon, which the mortise is not all the way through. Now, when we start making this joint, first we start with the mortise part. That's the reason why we do that. Because the mortising machine cutter is given size. We make the mortise hole using the cutter to cut the exact size hole. Then later, when we make the tenon part, we set up the table saw and cut the tenon to fit the hole. So here, I find out the size 2/16 and mark a cross line. And from here, I pick up the side to face out, which I'm going to use this as the outside edge. So from here, I make a mitre line from this point here and draw the line. Now, this is 1 inch. So I'm going to use a 3/8 size cutter of the mortising machine. So 1 inch minus 3/8, I have 5/8 divided by 2. That's 5/16 on each side. So I set up 5/16 on the other side. And this is 3/8. This is for the mortising hole. Now, here is the mitre. How wide is the tenon? I'm looking at from this to this is same as this. So I give half. Here, the edge of the mortise, and same as this. So this is going to be the mortise hole. Here is the mortising machine with a 3/8 cutter installed. Now, we need to position this in this particular piece. The mortising hole is right in the middle center of this workpiece. So one way I do it is by eyeball, and train your eye to look the edge of the cutter this way, right on the marking. Or you can use a spacer. After you determine the distance from the wall of the machine to the line, you cut a piece of scrap and fit in here. Then you bring this cutter against the scrap, which is the same size as this. Now, second hole, I don't cut right next to it, because if I do the second cut right next to the first one, the cutter will go this way because no wood against this side. So instead, I cut the far side and I bring down the cutter and I line this up. Here we finish the mortising hole on the mortising machine. Next, we go to the table saw with this 45-degree slat and bring up the saw. Now, we need to take this off. So I put on this side and use this edge of the mortising hole on the inside, project a line here, and line up with the saw blade and knock this off. Here you can see I use the saw to check the marking, and here you can see I still have about 30 seconds to my final marking edge. So I move this out just a little bit to do a trimming to give me the final cut. Now here we finish the mortising part like this piece. We need to make the tenon with mitre to go in. So we need to do the marking again. Here is the piece for the tenon. This is going to be the mitre. Then we extend this line. To the edge. Now, this is 5/16, 5/16. So we need to mark the 5/16 line. This is going to cut away, and this is going to cut away. This is going to be the tenon. When we do the tenon part with the mitre cut, several things we need to pay attention to. This side and this side need to be dead on even. Cannot be one side higher than the other side, because if that happens, when this assemble, the higher side will hit this edge, and the lower side and this edge will leave a gap. If it's good. So now we can finish the cut. Now, as I mentioned, it's very important this solder and this solder line up. To achieve this, I put a block here and I square this corner. So when I keep cutting, multiple cutting, this eventually will hit this, go to the final cut. Then when I turn it around, I do the multiple cut as well. And eventually this will hit here, then I do the final cut. This will guarantee both solder even. This fit inside nicely and pull out easy. Next, we use this given dimension, the width of the mortise hole. Transfer the length to this to give the width of the tenon. Draw it from here. Now, we need to take this away. Remove it. To do this, we go to the bandsaw. Here on the bandsaw, I trim this, I put this pencil mark, which is about 30 seconds off from the surface. Now I finish cutting on the bandsaw with this off from the solder. and this is on the marking. There's some wood above or higher than the solder, right there. We need to make this, take it away to make this all smooth across, line up with this surface. You can clamp this on the vise and use your chisel to clean it, or I just hold it by hand and use a flat chisel, the flat side against the solder, and I just do this. Use the given surface to guide my chisel, the flat side, cut into it, and cut this way. If you cut this way, you're against the grain going down, which is very hard to cut. This away and also follow the wood grain, so it makes it cut easy. You can make a couple pass. We can use our chisel to take away some of this corner. We don't want the wood chips between the tenon and the mortise, so take this away. This is good. If the tenon corner, there's some wood there, take this away, we give room. So here, tenon, mitre, mortise, mitre. We can put it together. Here we are, mortise and tenon joint, 45 degree. We do this on 4 corners, and we have a frame. Mitre, 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 mitre. And then the assembling is the piece with the mortise on both ends coming in evenly. And all we need is 2 clamps, one here to bring this in, another one from here and here, bring this in. We don't need any clamp or any force this way, because the tenon will guide this piece in easily. That's a wonderful joint, and thank you for watching.